Hello! This video contains an introduction to sketching three-dimensional objects. One of the biggest problems in communicating technical information is accurately portraying three-dimensional information on a two-dimensional surface. Computer screens are flat, paper is two-dimensional, phones, TVs, overhead projectors, just about all the devices we use to communicate information are two-dimensional. Unfortunately, it is impossible to accurately portray real-life three-dimensional systems on two-dimensional surfaces. As you draw, notice how angles become distorted and features become elongated or truncated in the two-dimensional drawings. Start your sketch with a simple box. Standard views often use 60-degree and 120-degree angles for the cubes. You can use a protractor to help set up your angles, or standard drafting triangles can also be used. Isomeric graph paper also uses 120 and 60-degree lines. Remember, it's better not to draw directly on your grid paper. Place the grid paper behind the blank sheet you are drawing on. A bright light on your desk will make the paper you are drawing on transparent. When the bounding box is complete, lightly pencil in construction lines to set the approximate proportions of the object you are drawing. I am drawing darker lines in order for them to show up on the video, but you should use 4H to 9H lead for your construction lines, or you can just use a standard 2H pencil with light pressure. Fill in the front view first. Once the front view is complete, map each feature onto the two remaining sides using parallel projection lines. When you are satisfied with the lighter construction lines, trace over the drawing with dark lines. I am using soft 2B pencil lead for my dark outlines, but you can also trace the final outline in pen. If you use pen, the light pencil construction lines can be easily erased after the ink is dried. 2D drawings of 3D objects are called projections. To understand projections, just think of an overhead projector or the projection of an image on a movie screen. There are many different types of projections which all fall into two main groups: perspective projections and parallel projections. What I am drawing right now is a parallel projection, or a projection in which the lines on each side of the object are all parallel to one another. In contrast to parallel projections, perspective projections use a vanishing point, vanishing line, or horizon. In perspective projections, the object appears smaller as it gets farther away. Technical drawings for smaller mechanical parts are typically created using parallel projections, while architect and civil engineering schematics of large structures often use perspective projections. We will cover the specifics of different projection views in future units. For shading, choose which sides have light shining on them and which sides are in the shadow. In technical drawings, the lines and shading used to show surface characteristics is called hatching. Different hatching patterns can be used to denote the surface finishes created from grinding, polishing, milling, and otherwise creating the part. Hatching patterns can also symbolize the materials used for the part, such as cement, metal, plastic, or wood. The CAD software we will be using has a large library of different standard hatching patterns to choose between. By this time, you might notice your paper starting to get smudges and your work area filling up with eraser peelings. Before CAD software was around, professional drafters were required to keep their hands and work areas meticulously clean. Imagine how hard it would be to create perfect, poster-sized schematics by hand that were free from all smudges, wrinkles, and other mistakes. When you get frustrated with the CAD software in future weeks, just think back and remember how hard it was to create a professional drawing by hand. CAD software allows drawings to be easily modified, reproduced, and shared. No eraser peelings or starting over on a new piece of paper with CAD. Newer programs, such as Inventor and SolidWorks, have the added ability of virtually testing how designed parts react to applied loads, where they will bend, and where they will break. Entire systems can be virtually assembled together, tested for efficiency and functionality without ever leaving the drawing board. Projects still start out with simple old-fashioned sketches, though. Southwest Airlines was born on sketches drawn on a cocktail napkin. Seattle's iconic Space Needle, the Voyager airplane, Compaq's first portable computer, and even Harry Potter all started out as hand-drawn ideas on napkins. There's just something about sketching an idea out by hand that helps you think it through a little bit better. Sketching is part of brainstorming and is the first step in many engineering projects. Okay, now it's your turn to try it out. Clear off a nice big working area on your desk, turn on some music, and sketch your initials in 3D. It might take a few rough drafts and a few pieces of paper before you get the proportions worked out correctly, but practice makes perfect. The more time you spend, the better you'll get, and remember, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to get your idea across. Happy sketching!